Okay, I want to talk about mindset and mind block. So first, just to kind of set like a backstory, just to make this concept a little bit more easy to understand or easy to digest. Um, Everybody has a temperature that they feel comfortable at. So I want you to think, right? What's your temperature, right? What's the temperature that you're comfortable at? Is it 68 degrees Fahrenheit, or I think that's about uh, 20 20 and a bit uh, Celsius. I can't do the conversion immediately. Well, Fahrenheit, Celsius, doesn't matter, right? What's your ideal temperature, right? Now imagine if it was just a tiny bit hotter, right? 1, 2 degrees hotter, Celsius or Fahrenheit, right? Or 1, 2 degrees lower, right? So a little bit colder or a little bit hotter. How would you feel, right? You would feel irritated, uncomfortable, right? It just wouldn't feel right. That's exactly the same with our mind. Their habits, we build habits of our mind, right? Routines, habits of our mind. And so what we're comfortable, right? What we feel comfortable with is actually just what we got used to, right? What we got adapted to. Right? So we're comfortable with a certain paycheck, right? We're comfortable with a certain house. We're comfortable with a certain relationship, right? We're comfortable with certain health, right? That's what we got used to. So actually, if you flip that around, there's no such thing as comfort, right? It's just what we got used to, right? But we could get used to anything, right? Anything that the human body, right, any environment the human body can survive and thrive in is something we can get comfortable with, right? Which is a huge range, right? That's a huge range. Meaning there really is no such thing as comfort, right? It's just what we got used to. It's a way for our brain to save energy, right? So we don't have to work as hard. So the interesting thing is, right, with these mindset slash mind blocks, your mindset can become a mind block. That's what you have to watch out for, right? You first have to build the mindset, right? The unshakable, right? The irresistible, right? The overcoming, the unstoppable mindset, right? But what you also have to worry about is that mindset can become set in stone, right? It can become a mind block. And that depends on how, right? How you do it. What do I mean? So, even people we think of as quote unquote successful, right? Billionaires, CEOs, entrepreneurs, actors, movie stars, singers, dancers, athletes, right? All these people, right? Scientists, all the people we colloquially, right? Normally, quote unquote, normally we think of as successful, actually are most prone to getting that mind block, right? The more successful you become, the more likely it is for you to get that mind block. Why? It goes the opposite way as well, right? The more successful you get, the more easier it is to get a mind block. The opposite is also true, right? The more you get beat down by life, right? The more easy it is to get a mind block as well, right? Learned helplessness. It goes both ways. And why? That's because you form that identity through your success, right? Right, whatever you became successful in, right? If you're an actor, right, you're so successful as an actor, you ingrain your identity in acting, right? You become an actor, right? You think of yourself as an actor, right? And that's a mindset, right? It's a mindset that can help you grow, yes, right? Grow into a better actor. But, right, if done wrong, it can also turn into a mind block, right? You'll block other ways of looking at things, right? Not just as an actor, but you can look at things through the lens of a husband, right? A father, a mother, a wife. You can look at things through the lens of a normal person, right? A human being, right? Through the heart, right? Through the heart. Um, so it's like the idea of, I believe it was called spiritual materialism. One of the Buddhist masters, I believe, said it. I forget his name. Um, we have chains, but we also have golden chains, right? They're pretty, but they're still chains, right? So it's like this, right? If you smoke, right, smoking's not good for you, right? And it can become addictive, right? So smoking is a chain, right? It puts you down, right? It's something that destroys your quality of life, right? But not smoking, what do I mean? Right? When you build up that ego, right? When you every time you do something, so for example, not smoking, right? You're so caught up, you're so focused on not smoking, all right, that it's actually becoming unhealthy, right? You're so focused, right? You're like, I'm not smoking, I'm not smoking, I'm not smoking, I'm not. You're so focused on not smoking, right? That it's unhealthy, right? Which becomes a mind block, right? That becomes a mind block. You're doing something healthy, right? Not smoking, but you're so focused on not smoking that it's unhealthy, right? It's like healthy eating, right? Healthy eating is healthy, right? Eating mainly plant-based, right? Not eating too much, right? Eating whole, right? Whole foods, right? Foods that your grandma, grandpa would recognize, right? That's healthy, right? But if you get so focused, right? If you're so paranoid on eating healthy, it's unhealthy, right? You're so stressed out about eating healthy, it's unhealthy, right? It's the same thing, right? So there's chain and then there's golden chain. That's why you hear so much, right? That's why you hear so much about actors, right? They had it all, right? They had it all, right? Celebrities, right? They had the money, they had the fame, right? They had everything people think, right? They had everything that people think equals success, right? They had everything, but they didn't, right? They didn't, right? We hear it all the time, right? The tragic story, right? Actors, celebrities, billionaires, right? They had it all. They had it all, but we hear the tragic story, right? Because they got trapped, right? They got trapped by their ego, right? They didn't really know what to do with it. It's tragic. Right? So this is super important, right? This mindset and mind block, right? This is what determines everything. Everything. The more successful you become, right? The more successful you become, right, which is that mindset, right? The mindset of the growth mindset, the abundance mindset, right? Exponential mindset, right? The more of that mindset you have, the more successful you become. But you really, right? Really, you have to do that. You have to do that to become successful. But then you have to watch out for the mind block, right? Because you get so caught up in it, right? Because you get so caught up in that success, right? You get a mind block, right? You put your ego, right? You put your ego onto that identity. And one more thing, right? Ego, the way I think of ego is not the enemy. It can be. It can definitely be the enemy. But the way I see it, ego is more like a tool, right? The ego is something that protects me, right? When I'm trying to cross the street, my ego is protecting me, right? If I didn't have my ego, I would just cross the street and I'd get hit by a car and I'd die, right? It's protecting me. So the ego, I'm very grateful for the ego. Without the ego, I would be dead, right? I wouldn't be here. But the ego can also get in the way as well, right? Because we get so caught up, right? We get caught up in things, right? We get trapped, right? We get mind blocked by things. We get so used to things, right, through that ego that it ends up harming us instead, right? We're self-sabotaging. as I said, it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. So, what's the way out, right? How do we like get out of this mind block? How do we get out of this? I like to think of it like a checkmate, right? You're getting checkmated by your own mind. How do we get out of it? Well, when you realize you're not in it in the first place, right? When you realize you don't have that mind block in the first place, that's when you break that block, right? That saying, right? Think outside the box, mate, right? Friends, right? There is no box, right? There is no box, right? When you break that box in the first place, that's when you break through, right? You realize there is no block in the first place. How do you do that? Well, there is no how, right? There is no how because that's still a way of trying to think of a way to break it, right? You're still you're still implying in that question that you can break through it because there is no breaking through it in the first place, right? It might seem a little confusing at first. The best way I've done it, the best way I've done it, it's to just take it all in. Let those thoughts be. An analogy would be the thoughts, right, of being limited, right, having those limitations, those beliefs. They're like clouds. They just come and go, right? They just come and go, come and go, come and go. I feel them, I experience them, but they come, right? Those feelings of ego, they come and then they go. Right? They just go. In and out, in and out, in and out.